Lamont Roach in training camp, ready for one of the biggest rematches.
You're the boxer, and he's the puncher.
It depends on how I'm feeling that night.
Depends on how you're feeling going into the fight. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling like Mike Tyson today.
These two have known each other for a while. Does Lamont Roach just understand a way to beat or frustrate Tank in a way that others don't?
Before the Gervonta Davis rematch, Mike Tyson stops by Lamont Roach's camp to train with him. Tyson says that Davis won't go the distance and that he expects to finish before the final bell. Tyson says, "We'll see what happens," implying that Roach has explosive potential.
First I thought Tank was just going to beat him in like 5 or 6 rounds. I don't know. We have to see now. I got caught up with the hype and stuff.
What's the key? The key to the fight?
But Davis, I think, I don't see it going the distance.
Lamont Roach and Gervonta Davis's rivalry is an important part of both fighters' histories and goes beyond just another boxing plot. Roach achieved something that had never been done before. He brought Tank to a draw that changed the perception of both men among spectators and commentators. Roach demonstrated that he possessed the fortitude and strategy to eliminate the threat, whereas Davis was renowned for finishing his opponents. Roach learned the pattern from that first battle, and now he returns more prepared and with more confidence.
But they've known each other. These two have known each other for a while. Does Lamont Roach just understand a way to beat or frustrate Tank in a way that others don't? You know what I mean? Like, has he just found it, so to speak? Like, I have a lot I want to find out after that, because the first fight was so controversial. I think leaving it up to a draw is fine, whatever, even though under the letter of the law, Tank probably should have lost this fight, and probably would have if they counted the knockdown when he took a knee. He blamed it on grease. I assume he won't on his hair. And it could get greasy. Like Amanda Serrano was like, yo, that's what fucking put me out of a fight in Puerto Rico. And then we were subjected to her beating the shit out of Stevie Morgan not that long later. So like, that's kind of what it is. But I'm excited for this. I'm excited for this because of the first fight. And I think you have to give Lamont Roach a real shot, even though I still would say Tank figures it out and gets it done and takes it more seriously this time.
Yeah, I think that because they're so familiar with each other, like these guys fought each other when they were kids. And then Lamont Roach comes into the ring and listen, regardless, like Lamont Roach came in there and he was confident. And I don't think a lot of people believed that he was going to be able to get it done against Tank. People thought that Tank was going to knock him out. Here's the thing, though. Tank is actually super skilled. Like, he doesn't throw a lot. When he does, he's extremely accurate, but he does have skill. And what he does is he reels in his fighters and he ends up landing big shots on them that end up knocking his opponent out.
Tyson, Mike, one of the most feared boxing legends, hasn't held back while expressing his thoughts on the rematch. When discussing Tank's mentality, he didn't mince words. Davis can't afford to enter this fight with too much confidence, Tyson clarified, calling it a difficult battle that Tank shouldn't take lightly.
I think Gervonta Davis is probably the greatest fighter around now, but he's got a tough fight coming up. You know, he's the top dog. There's no doubt about it. He showed that. But Berrios, he's a pretty good fighter. Last time I saw him fight, he was pretty durable.
Prominent boxing figure Ryan Garcia wasn't holding. Back in his evaluation, what Roach showed him at their first meeting impressed him. Garcia says that fight showed Roach belongs on the big stage, but he thinks Tank will be under a lot of pressure in the rematch. These days, effort, willpower, and how far Davis is willing to go are more important than talent alone. According to Garcia, Tank needs to step up if he wants to escape with the victory, because Roach has already shown his value.
The rematch play out if they do fight again. Sometimes not a loss, but something like this, a blemish, might get you back.
It can. You know, it's all up to Tank. It's all about what, you know, how he feels inside, internally. I think, you know, for him, it's a lot to do up here too, you know, like all of us. But I think that's what you're going to get from Roach. That's what you're going to get at Roach every time, I think. I think it's up to Tank to see, you know, what type of, how far he could go up.
Aunt Roach's training camp got a major boost with the arrival of Mike Tyson, and Roach didn't just train harder. He trained smarter when asked about his mindset heading into the rematch. Roach said that how he feels on fight night would determine everything, but there was more to it. He explained that he feels like Mike Tyson, not in arrogance, but in spirit.
You're the boxer, and he's the puncher.
It depends on how I'm feeling that night.
Depends on how you're feeling going into the fight. How you feeling today?
I'm feeling like Mike Tyson.
Gervonta Davis wasn't pleased to hear about Mike Tyson's involvement with Roach's camp. His reaction was sharp. He openly stated that he has more and power and better skills than Tyson ever had. That's a bold claim, especially considering Tyson's status as one of the most dominant knockout historical artists. This statement reveals a lot about Tank's mindset. He's proud, confident, and not afraid to challenge legends verbally, but it also shows he may be feeling the pressure. His frustration might stem from the realization that this rematch won't be a walk in the park.
I think I do have more skills than Mike Tyson. As far as when I say I have more skills than Mike Tyson, guys smarter than at a lower weight class always have more skills. It's no heavyweight ever in life had more skills than smaller guys. So let's just take that out the picture. So when people think that I'm dissing Mike Tyson, I'm not dissing Mike Tyson, for sure. It just, facts is facts. You know what I mean? I do feel as though I have more skills than Mike Tyson. I just hold that puncher power just as like Mike Tyson did when he was fighting. So, and I'm gonna stand on my words.
Stevenson also weighs in, and he called Roach a hell of a fighter and emphasized how much Tank needs to elevate his game this time. What makes Roach dangerous isn't just his physical ability, it's his timing, his defense, and most importantly, in his heart, he fights like a man with everything on the line. That's what makes this rematch so exciting. Rogan expects a war in the ring, not just a fight. Both men know what's at stake, and neither wants to come up short.
Talked about those rankings since they came out?
Nah, I ain't talking about, bro, I can't blame. Here's the thing, all of this stuff going on behind closed doors with these high-powered peoples and they making these high-powered decisions. I can't blame the fighters for that. So what is there even to talk about? What I'm gonna say, Key, I'm sure, there's nothing to talk about. That's my brother at the end of the day. I'm proud of him. I'm happy to where he's at because I done seen where he came from. So truthfully, I'm not caught up in that shit. That shit is what it is, but y'all know I know what it is.
Can we get your thoughts on to overlook Zepeda, the turkey called and say you got your eye on Tank? What do you think about the rumors of Tank and Jake fight?
Man, Tank disrespectful to the sport if he choose that over fighting with me. I'm the best fighter in the sport. I've been telling him that. He called cap on it. So if he won't call cap and say I'm not who I say I am, come prove it.
We got the rematch announced today with him and Lamont Roach. I think August 16th.
They announced it today?
So what do you think, considering you were one of the handful of people to pick Lamont Roach, giving him a tough fight? What do you think? I think it's dangerous for him to go back in there and fight Lamont. I think Lamont is a hell of a fighter. I can see that going left. So he better be on his A game.
For Roach, this is a pivotal moment in his professional life. He wants to make an impression rather than be paid. Not only would defeating Tank Davis dispel any lingering misgivings from the previous bout, but would also propel Roach into the top echelons of boxing. He's training fiercely, speaking with conviction, and acting like a man who understands that this could be his turning point.
So the Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach rematch is being targeted for June 21st in Las Vegas. Now, it's good that they're running it back without wasting any time because Roach absolutely deserves a rematch. I thought he outboxed Tank the last time around. He came up a division as a gigantic 10-1 underdog, and he was the one on the front foot, landing his jab, the body shots, the combinations, throwing a lot more volume. I had it 7-5 Roach, and the no knockdown in round 9 was the reason it was a draw. If that knockdown was scored, that would have been a decision for Roach. But with all that being said, I do like Tank a lot more in the rematch. I thought he fought way too much on the back foot in the first fight, especially the first few rounds. He would land 1 or 2 punches per round. But as he started becoming the aggressor in the later rounds, he kept landing a lot more left hands and body shots. So Tank just needs to make this a dogfight, get into more exchanges, and that's where he'll land a lot more punches on Roach. When he's sitting on the back foot waiting for a counter, that's where Roach is comfortable and winning most of the rounds. So if Tank can fight the same way he did against Ryan Garcia, rounds 3 to 7, against Mario Barrios in the later rounds or Frank Martin round 4 to 8, if he's the one on the front foot, then I do think he'll stop Roach in the rematch.
Senior trainer and father Lamont Roach shared some behind-the-scenes information. He claims that even Tank saw Roach's potential early on and that his reluctance to take the fight was due to caution rather than fear. According to reports, Davis was aware that Roach had the means to complicate matters, but boxing politics intervened because promoters, coaches, and business people wanted the fight to go on regardless.
In camp, so knowing the coaches, they knowing us, work it's both ways. And they just our way, coming from both sides. So, but no, was I shocked? No. I think Tank tried to tell y'all. Calvin tried to tell y'all, Burry tried to tell y'all, but they didn't want to hear it. They just so stuck on trying to force Tank to fight who they want him to fight. And it don't work like that. You know what I'm saying? So it just was made for a great fight. So people need to just sit back and get ready for part 2.
It's gonna be epic, man. I can't wait for part 2, man. Do you got anything to say to the fans, about part 2, about anything that you got going on coming up, social media, anything?
No, I just say get ready, man. Put your seatbelts on, and when this thing happen, man, make sure y'all support. Come to the fight, buy the fight, and be the biggest fan, cheering whoever you're cheering for. Don't matter, but you're gonna see another great performance by the Reaper, man. Reaper ain't playing. He got a big bag, like you said, big 2 bag.
What do you think the difference would be, though?
You gonna see the difference. I believe we want to fight. Nobody can tell us different. The majority of the world believe we want to fight. So you gonna see. Both of them gonna raise their level. Both of them. So yeah, they're gonna make for a greater fight. But
view of their knockout power, many fans have compared Gervonta Davis with Mike Tyson. And difficult histories, but Tyson rejected the notion, stating that there is no true resemblance between their tactics or personalities, other than the fact that they have both had run-ins with the law while boxing. Identity is determined by your fighting style, not by your life outside of the ring.
Davis, a lot of people say he reminds you of them. Does he remind you of yourself?
There we go. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe just getting in trouble with the law. Other than that, no.
The epic Tyson versus Holyfield bouts and the Roach versus Davis rivalry have been compared. In both, an intimidating favorite faced an underrated but extremely talented opponent. Holyfield stunned everyone by refusing to back down from Tyson's rage. It serves as a reminder that, despite how unfair the odds appear on paper, heart preparation and strategy can even
face off against one another. One guy was a massive favorite, had taken a loss, and was seen to be too small, right? And I'm talking about Evander Holyfield versus Iron Mike Tyson. Iron Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield was a major fight. A major fight. But Iron Mike Tyson was viewed as a destroyer. Okay? He was the baddest man on the planet. He was indestructible. The fact that he lost to James Buster Douglas was an anomaly because Mike Tyson wasn't focused and he overlooked James Buster Douglas, who was a 25-1, if I'm not mistaken, underdog. James Buster Douglas was. Right? And Mike Tyson, they were setting up a Mike Tyson showdown with Evander Holyfield. Should Mike Tyson have beaten James Buster Douglas, the next fight for Mike Tyson was going to be Evander Holyfield. Holyfield was in attendance. It took place in Japan, right? And we know Mike Tyson got knocked out in the fight, and Buster Douglas ended up losing his very next fight to Evander Holyfield, right? His title defense to Evander Holyfield. And then Mike Tyson went through legal issues, had a few comeback fights, went to prison, came back, had a few comeback fights. And finally, we got the showdown in November of 1996. And it didn't play out how many people thought it was going to play out. Everybody felt like Evander Holyfield was too small. He was a cruiserweight coming up in weight. He was too small. Now, obviously, he was taller than Mike Tyson. But naturally, he was considered a cruiserweight, 220 pounds, standing at 6'2", 6'3", right? But he was considered a smaller guy, muscular frame, but a smaller guy. Mike Tyson was 225, 5'11", but we know Mike Tyson fought big guys his entire career and was a heavyweight his entire career, right, as a professional. And so with that said, everybody looked at
them out, just like Roach did against Tank's might. That same intensity is now driving this impending rematch.
Do you feel like you're the mini Mike Tyson?
Nah.
So he knocked people out real quick. You knock people out real quick.
Yeah, but I can knock you out like...
So you saying that you can knock him out faster than Mike Tyson, probably, if it was a challenge?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying like, Mike Tyson got power and skills. I feel as though like I have like the whole package. Like I have, Mike Tyson don't have like, you know? I think so.
So, what's your message to Brandon?
Who?
Brandon.
What Brandon?
I don't know. Brandon is the nigga that whooped my ass. If you could say something to him real quick.
When we catch you, Brandon, we gonna get up with you.